it to the last final episode, the finale.
Can you believe we did this in one sitting?
I cannot. But I will say, I think that, at least for me, talking this out has definitely brought me to, like, some greater realizations. And I think I'm, like, really able to reflect on, like, what my calling and vocation is supposed to be.
It is always nice, like, talking out with someone. It's nice. Yeah, it's just nice to hear your own voice, literally.
Kind of weird. We're wearing headphones right now, as you probably have seen in our intros for all the episodes before this. But I think I'll start us off. I'm going to wrap up here. Some final thoughts, answering some of these questions here in the assignment, and I think Ethan's going to do the same from his side. But for me, looking at what I think my calling and vocation is, I know that I was put on this earth by God to interact with all kinds of different people, no matter if you're a nerd, you're, I don't know, into art. I'm terrible at art. I should have mentioned that earlier. Like, I don't know, if you're like me, it doesn't just take, I don't just make friends with a couple people. I feel like I really put myself forward to meet all kinds of different people, and in that same wavelength, I try to make people feel good, and I would try to support people wherever I can, and I think that's what makes me probably a unique leader, is the fact that I genuinely care about everybody that I'm interacting with, and I think that's really important. And on top of that, I think that I'm, like, supposed to serve and help people in my life. Like, if I had it perfect, if I could create my most ideal situation, I'd come out of college, I would go into consulting for a couple years, I would come up with the most brilliant idea ever for a startup. I'd make millions and millions in my first couple years. I'd retire by 35, and I'd spend the rest of my days spending that money and serving people and working non-for-profit, working for charities, putting it towards a greater purpose. That would be ideal. But the center of all this is, I think I'm called to help people in whatever I'm doing, to be a leader, to communicate, to guide, to support, to give what I have, my talents, and put them to use of working and helping with others. And I think that because I've gotten to see this in, my presidency with Alpha Chi, it's definitely put some challenges towards me where I've had to talk with people and listen and hear some of the things going on, in their lives, and seeing ways that I can help, navigating challenges where people are hurting, or, people have different things where maybe they can't come to our events, things like that, and just being empathetic and trying to understand and figure out where I can come in to make things easier. I also think that because, at Credit Karma this summer, like, some of the work I did was to help people. My email I created, it was called Relief Positivity. I said it really reflects exactly who I am. I wrote a new email that provides relief resources to people by encouraging them that, like, some of the taglines were, you made it through the week. Like, congratulations, pat yourself on the back for that. Like, it's a simple, like, you don't have to be doing super well. It's okay if you're in debt. It's okay if you have things going on. But at the end of the day, sorry, we got something going on behind me. At the end of the day, the hope is that I've made an impact on the people that I had the opportunity to touch. And I think moving forward, how am I going to navigate that? My next steps are, I know that I'm supposed to be working with others, and I really, really, truly believe I'm supposed to work in consultancy for the next couple of years. I don't want to, like, go beyond that, because I believe that following that path where I know that my skills will be served and where I'll be able to still grow and be myself and be helping people, I think that will lead me if I sit there and I listen to God and I take in what I believe that He's calling me to do next. If I listen with open ears, that's the key, right? Yep. If I sit there and I listen, that will help me navigate that next step into all the other things that I hope to achieve. At the end of the day, I have all these dreams. I want to give a TED Talk. I want to be a CEO. I want to be in charge. I want to lead a company. I want to start my own company. Like, who knows? The world is endless. Opportunities are endless. I want to be a mom, all those things. But at the end of the day, it comes back to a few things. That I'm going to listen to God. I'm going to live by my values. I'm going to put myself in a place where I'm kind and understanding and not afraid to take the risks, accept failure, and continue to navigate with God at my center.
Sounds like a pretty solid plan.
I hope.
Hard to beat that, but
What do you think?
So in terms of what might be my calling and vocation, kind of similar to what you were saying, I think one of them is to be a servant leader. I think I was put on this earth partially to serve others and help them achieve like what they want to do. And obviously that's pretty apparent in like consulting and financial advising because that's really what you do. And I would say that other calling would probably be as I was saying, like be a fisher of men. I pride myself on like trying to be the best example of like what it means to be a man I can. And so yeah, and that kind of like goes back to the priesthood. Yeah, so I think those two callings are, I guess, prime examples of like what I could do, what my vocation might be. And then in terms of like how I'm going to navigate and fulfill those callings, it's very plausible that I actually may enter the seminary like right after college. Is that a big risk? Yes. Does that scare me? Yeah. But at the same time, just having faith in God that He'll provide for me if I give my time to Him is something that I need to work on. But who knows? Yeah, I could enter the seminary and like figure out like, oh, maybe I was supposed to be a priest, or I could figure out like this isn't what I was called to do. But in that case, they will close the door, and then I'll, usually like in seminary they probably help you. I know they have like spiritual discernment, stuff like that. But yeah, so for navigating and finding those next steps, it's for me, I think it's all about just like trying to keep exploring like what it is that I love and I'm passionate about doing, whether that be consulting or financial advising or even just being a priest. But I think it's important you like keep moving forward and don't become complacent.
Yeah, with that, I'm going to ask you one more question that I think we both should answer.
Okay.
From this podcast and all these episodes that we got to record, what do you think was most unearthed or discovered for you that was that you think is a part of your calling that maybe you didn't think of until we like continued to discuss with each other, unpack where we're at in life?
I don't know. That story of your uncle still really stands out to me. The one who was in the seminary and then became a financial advisor and now has 7 kids. I don't know. To me, I think that just kind of highlights like, even if you take like an untraditional route, I think God will always give that time back to you. And I think at the end of the day, He'll lead you to where you were meant to be. I think they're kind of closing down, but anyway.
We've been here a while.
Yeah, yes, we have. But yeah, I'd say that's like one of the things that stuck out to me is just I should probably just have more faith in the Lord, because I very much like just kind of take it upon all my all of it upon my shoulders and try to figure it out for myself, and that's probably not the best way to go about doing it.
Yeah.
What about you?
I think for me it's, and this I kind of started to live through like the summer, is I like feel like I experience a lot of anxiety and stress. I let all the activities I'm a part of, all the people I interact with, I carry it all so deeply. And I think for me,
it's going to actually take time for you guys to save your file too, and it's 5:01, so I really need you to wrap up, okay?
Perfect. Thank you so much. Yep, we gotta go. But basically, what I have to say, the last thing I gotta say is I know now, like, there's no reason to stress And there's no reason to let those things eat me alive, because at the end of the day, God knows what's going to happen. God's going to let it work out. He's going to be there by my side. And I think the biggest takeaway from today is I did not walk in here with the idea of my goal is to help people, because I didn't consider that, I don't think, before I got here.
But last thing, we need you to be you. Don't sell short, and we'll give us all you got. Take care.
Woo!